Episode 6. The night passed like an ordeal of awareness, heavy, unsettling, almost apocalyptic. When morning finally broke, Sophia felt a slight sense of relief. As usual, she left home on time, but instead of heading straight to the radio station, she first stopped by Skyline Real Estate. The office was closed. Planning to return after work, she left. When she came back later, the office was open. As she stepped inside, instead of Daniel, she saw another young man sitting casually on the guest chair near the desk. "Hello, ma'am. How can I help you?" Kevin stood up at once, eager to assist. "I need to meet Daniel," she said, remaining where she was. "He just stepped out nearby. He'll be back soon. Please, have a seat." He gestured toward the sofa. She walked over and sat while he returned to his chair. "I'm Kevin, Max's brother-in-law." He introduced himself unnecessarily, trying to break the awkward silence. "When my brother-in-law and Daniel aren't around, I handle things here. So, are you looking to rent a house, buy one, or sell your own?" He continued talking nonstop. "I need just to meet Daniel for now." The door opened right then. Daniel walked in, his eyes meeting Sophia's. She stood up. "There he is. Long life, huh?" Kevin said with a grin, pointing toward him as if Sophia couldn't see. "She wanted to meet you," he added helpfully. "What happened now?" Daniel didn't get a good feeling the moment he saw her. "What happened? You lied to me and you're asking what happened?" She had come charged with emotion, and seeing him, it burst out. Kevin perked up instantly. He had always seen Daniel snapping at others. This was the first time he saw someone coming at him like lightning. Resting his elbow on the table and cheek on his palm, he settled in to enjoy the show. Daniel caught on instantly. "Kevin, go get me some tea," Daniel said, trying to... "But we just had tea a little while ago," he reminded him. "I feel like having it again. Now go. And make sure it's made properly." Daniel's tone hardened. With a disappointed face and drooping shoulders, Kevin left. "What lie did I tell you?" Daniel resumed calmly. "You said those rumors about the house were false, spread by someone out of spite, but you didn't tell me someone had died there." "That's not unusual. Death happens in every house," he said carelessly. "Yes, but not every house has someone burned alive. That happened in that house." That sharp reply silenced him for a moment. "I didn't get that house for such low rent for no reason. There has to be some truth to those rumors. The owner knows it, and so do you." Her suspicion was turning into certainty. "You're repeating the same thing I've already answered. Yes, someone died there and the owner moved away. People spread stories to bring down the value, claims about sounds, sightings." He was still holding his ground skillfully. "What kind of enmity did people have with the owner?" she cut in sharply. He faltered for just a second. "I don't know, but tell me, have you seen or heard anything unusual in those days?" He countered strongly, pulling the argument in his favor. Sophia had no answer. It was true, nothing had happened so far. "So you want me to sit there and wait until something does happen, until I hear or see something, or worse?" She deflected with another question. Daniel pressed his lips, controlling himself. "Forget what I want. Tell me, what do you want?" "A new house as soon as possible." The answer came without a second's delay. "Earlier, I had no choice. My notice period had ended. Now I can manage for a few days, but please find me another place." This wasn't an order. It was a plea. Daniel just looked at her. "All right, I'll find one." She felt slightly relieved. "Though, if I were you, I wouldn't leave such a great house just because of rumors," he added as a final shot. "That's exactly it. I'm not like you. I use my brain." She caught his arrow and drove it right back into his chest. He simply looked at her sharply, holding himself back. Sophia no longer wanted to stay in that bungalow, and Daniel didn't want her leaving so soon. He was still trying to find a buyer for it, and Sophia herself was supposed to be proof that the place was fine, but now she wanted to run away. That's what had always happened with this bungalow. But this time, he didn't want that. For now, he had agreed just to calm her down, but before finding her another house, he wanted to secure a buyer. He had gone to meet someone regarding that. Instead of his bike, he had taken a car from the showroom. Now he was on his way back. The meeting hadn't gone well, and his mind was tangled in thoughts. The long road was deserted in the afternoon. A laborer-looking boy was walking along the side. Hearing the car, he raised his hand, hoping for a lift. Daniel passed him, but then felt he had seen him somewhere before. Slowing, he stopped. The boy's dull face lit up. He ran over. "Sir, can you drop me to the bus stop?" he requested, but then paused upon recognizing him. "Aren't you the one we went with to clean that haunted bungalow?" Daniel remembered too. "Yes, but it's not haunted." "Come on, sir, it is. Ever since we went there, everything's gone wrong for us," the boy insisted. "What do you mean? Can I sit in the car and tell you?" Daniel allowed it. As the car started moving again, Daniel asked, "Now tell me." "That day, on our way back, my bike got into an accident. My friend's leg broke." "What does that have to do with the house?" "Fine, leave that. You remember our friend? He saw something there, said someone grabbed his throat." "Yes, but that was just his imagination. After we came back, he got a high fever. No medicine worked, and 2 days later, he died." This time, Daniel was genuinely shaken. "At his funeral, others told me that bungalow isn't right. Years ago, a girl burned to death there. Her spirit still wanders." The words unsettled him deeply, but he still didn't show it. "All these things, spirits, shadows, they're stories. I've never seen anything myself. Have you?" "Have you ever seen the wind?" the boy asked suddenly. Daniel had no easy answer. Just because you can't see something doesn't mean it doesn't exist. That final line swallowed all his arguments. By the time Daniel returned to the agency, his mind was a mess. Usually quick-witted, he couldn't think straight now. Max and Kevin were at a family wedding, so he was alone. Leaning back in his revolving chair, he lit a cigarette. For a scattered mind, solitude isn't peace. It's a desert full of mirages. Fewer answers, more questions. He felt lost. A voice inside kept screaming, "Did you make a mistake?" Sophia's colleague Sia was getting married. They had become somewhat friendly at the call center, so Sia had invited a few people, including Sophia. At first, she hadn't planned to go. She didn't know Sia personally, and everyone there would be strangers. Plus, she was already uneasy about the bungalow. But she went anyway, to refresh her mind, and it helped. She wore a maroon gown. Full sleeves hugged her wrists. The neckline was simple. No necklace, just silver earrings swaying with her movement. With the delicate sandals and her long black hair flowing down her back, she looked more graceful than usual. She had bought the dress years ago. It had served many occasions and still had life left. It was early November. Cold nights came quickly. Before the event even ended, she left. It was a long way back. She took a cab. It was only around 10, but the roads were already deserted, as if it were midnight. The cab dropped her at the bungalow. Wrapping her brown shawl tightly, she stepped out, but it wasn't enough against the cold. The dried gulmohar tree nearby looked eerily mysterious in the night. Avoiding it, she hurried inside. She never turned off the lights when leaving. The darkness made the place feel worse. The bungalow was brightly lit, but the silence remained. She went straight to her room, took off her sandals, and lay down lazily. The clock showed 10:15 p.m. Her eyelids grew heavy, and soon she fell asleep. She lay there, still dressed, turned to her side. The maroon fabric spread around her, her hair scattered across the bed, one earring resting against her cheek. 2 white eyes watched her. Slowly, they came closer, closer, very close. Her perfume was inhaled deeply. "Sophia," A whisper came right at her ear. She jolted awake. There was no one. She looked around confused. Maybe it was a dream. She checked the clock and froze. 12:30 a.m. 2 hours had passed. Before she could process it, a piano started playing. Her heart leapt to her throat. The soft melody grew louder. This wasn't imagination. She stood up in panic. What should she do? She couldn't go downstairs. Who would she even see? Fear gripped her completely. Then suddenly, a thought struck her. Moments later, Daniel's phone rang. He woke up abruptly. He had dozed off in his chair. The phone kept ringing. Unknown number. He answered. "Daniel, please, come quickly. The piano is playing on its own." A terrified female voice. He understood instantly. "Don't panic. Stay in your room. I'm coming." And he rushed out. Sophia sat on the bed, scared and shaken. Her knees were drawn up, her arms wrapped tightly around them, while her alert eyes kept scanning the room. Her lips moved constantly as she recited prayers under her breath. The sound of the piano had stopped. A deep silence had settled everywhere. The ticking of the clock echoed clearly in the stillness. It had been a while since she had called. At that moment, it had seemed like the only solution, so she had acted on it. But now doubt crept in. Would he actually come? Or had he just given her false reassurance? Should she call him again and ask where he was? Or tell him not to come at all? Why had she even called him? What could he possibly do if he came here? He would probably dismiss everything as her imagination. But then again, what else could she have done? Where could she go at this hour of the night? Who could she ask for help? The whole night still lay ahead. Was she supposed to sit like this until morning? There were countless questions, and not a single answer. Finally, gathering some courage, she got up from the bed and stepped out of the room. One hand resting on the railing, she slowly descended the white marble stairs barefoot. Her maroon gown trailed softly behind her on the steps. The brightly lit bungalow was wrapped in silence. Step by step, she reached outside the study room. Her hand trembled slightly as she placed it on the doorknob, swallowing the lump in her throat. Summoning all her courage, she suddenly pushed the door open. No one was inside. The study, filled with elegant furniture, stood quiet and still. Her frightened eyes fixed on the piano. She was certain it wasn't her imagination. The sound of the piano was real. But how could it play on its own? She closed the door and turned to leave. And then the piano started playing again. Her heart skipped a beat. Standing outside the study this time, the deep, heavy sound of the grand piano echoed directly into her ears, filling her with dread. She slowly turned back and placed her hand on the knob again. Her heart trembled like a dry leaf, but before she could turn it, the music stopped. And then, a terrifying, mocking laugh echoed from inside. A chill ran down her spine. It felt as if her blood froze in her veins. Goosebumps rose all over her body. Her courage gave way completely. She turned and ran. As she reached the center of the hall, all the lights in the bungalow began flickering on and off by themselves. That same sinister laughter echoed again. Her body shook with fear, tears streaming down her face. Unable to bear it any longer, she ran blindly toward the exit, but collided with someone as soon as she stepped outside. It was Daniel. The outer iron gate was open. She had left it that way in her panic, but the inner door had been locked, which she had just opened while running out. "Thank God you're here. There's someone in the house." Seeing him gave her a little courage, but fear still choked her voice. Watching this composed girl so out of her senses made him even more concerned. "Who is it?" "I told you those rumors weren't false. I heard someone laughing, the piano and the lights." She spoke incoherently. "Okay, relax. Let's go check." Daniel led her back inside.
He paused in the hall and looked around carefully. Everything seemed normal. Everything looks fine here. No, it wasn't fine. Her voice trembled. I'm telling you, I felt someone's presence. I know you won't believe me, but there's something here. Tears streamed down her face as helplessness overwhelmed her. I believe you. She looked at him in shock. For a moment, she even forgot to cry. You're right. Maybe there is something here. Instead of dismissing it as her imagination, Daniel agreed. My agency partner Max warned me not to rent you this place, but I didn't believe him. I kept thinking there was nothing wrong, but maybe I was wrong. At last he admitted it. Guilt and the sight of her terrified helplessness forced the truth out of him. She stared at him stunned. Just moments ago she had been terrified. Now she stood there in disbelief. A storm had just passed, and now there was silence, the kind of silence that follows destruction. Even after knowing everything, you still did this?
Didn't you feel any mercy? Her voice broke through the silence, shaking with anger and pain. Didn't it occur to you that this could cost me my life? Her beautiful eyes burned with fury as they locked onto Daniel, but he avoided his gaze. If someone close to you were in my place, would you do the same to them? Answer me. She pushed him back harshly, her hands pressing against his chest. He stumbled a step back. I'm sorry, he said quietly. Sorry? She repeated in disbelief. Will your sorry fix everything? No, it won't, but I'll have to fix it, and I will. His voice remained low, but determination had replaced guilt now. Whenever he had ruined, he would set right. Oh, really? You will fix it? Her tone dripped with sarcasm. How? Like you... Her angry remark was cut short as suddenly all the lights in the hall went out. The entire bungalow plunged into darkness. The silence deepened, almost breathing. Both of them tried to look around, but the pitch-black darkness showed them nothing, except 2 white eyes watching them. Even in that darkness, those eyes saw them clearly, as if through night vision. But it wasn't a camera, and those eyes were not human. They belonged to something far more powerful. If they had heard its growl, their blood would have frozen. Suddenly, a strong gust of wind burst through the hall door, like a storm had entered. The lights flickered back on, then off, then began flashing rapidly. They realized things were spiraling out of control. What they had feared was now right in front of them and could consume them any moment. We need to get out of here now. A firm hand grabbed her delicate wrist. She was too shaken to resist. She simply followed him. They moved toward the exit, but suddenly the hall door slammed shut on its own. Both of them panicked. Daniel rushed to open it, but the lock wouldn't budge. It was jammed.
Even with all his strength, it didn't move an inch. What do we do now? She asked, terrified. Come here. He led her quickly into the drawing room. He tried to open the large glass window leading to the lawn, but it wouldn't open either. The crashing noises and storm-like winds inside the house grew stronger. The lights flickered wildly. Grabbing a marble vase, he smashed it against the window. The glass shattered outward, the vase slipping from his hand. The opening was narrow and jagged. Using his right hand, he pushed away more glass to widen the space, cutting himself in the process. He didn't care about his injury. All he wanted was to get her out of the danger he had put her in. He jumped out first, then extended his hand to help her. She held it and tried to climb out, but suddenly an unseen force grabbed her feet. Her heart dropped. My feet! Something's holding my feet. I can't get out. Her voice trembled with terror. Recite prayers. He was shaken too, but he didn't lose control. Pulling her with all his strength, he dragged her out. They succeeded. Outside, everything was completely calm. The storm raging inside the bungalow didn't exist in the lawn at all. Ignoring everything else, they moved away from that place as fast as they could, unaware that the trouble hadn't ended. It had only begun. Luckily, Daniel had a car for 2 days and he had come in it. As soon as they got out of the bungalow, they got inside and he sped off. On the deserted road, in the cold night, only the car's headlights cut through the darkness as it raced ahead. Sophia sat in the front seat, still in shock. She tried to process everything that had just happened. The sudden presence in the bungalow, Daniel's arrival, his confession, the attack by an unseen force, their narrow escape. She still couldn't believe she was alive. "Give me an address where I can drop you," Daniel said while
She looked at him blankly, startled. "I mean, tell me a friend or relative's place. Stay there for a few days. I'll find you another house soon." She kept staring at him instead of answering. "Stop the car." "Why?" he asked, confused. "I said stop the car." Her tone was firm. He pulled over. She opened the door and stepped out. She didn't seem in her senses. Anger and distress had taken over. He got out too, annoyed, and followed her. "Hey, madam, where are you going?" "Where were you taking me?" She turned sharply. "That depends on you. You must have someone, a friend or family." The headlights lit up the empty road as they stood facing each other. "I have no one." Her voice was bitter. "What, did you just fall from the sky?" He shot back. "No, but I'm stuck in this mess because of you. At this hour of the night, I'm barefoot on the road because of you." She pointed at him accusingly. His gaze dropped to her feet. They were bare. In their panic, she hadn't even thought of wearing slippers or taking a shawl. When life is at stake, such things don't matter. "Fine, since you're in this situation because of me, come with me to my house." "I'm not going to your house." "Why?" "Because you're a liar. Who knows what you'll do next?" He took a deep breath, controlling himself. "You don't have anywhere else to go. You won't come with me, so what? You'll stay on the road all night?" "Yes, better than going with you." She stepped back angrily. He just stared at her. Sophia sat down on the pavement. The cold began to make her shiver. Wrapping her arms around herself, she tried to warm up, unsuccessfully. Anger and distress were written all over her face. "Have you lost your mind?" he said, exasperated. "Do you even realize how dangerous it is for a girl to be out alone at night?" "As dangerous as living alone in a haunted house," she shot back. "More dangerous," he said firmly. But he couldn't leave this stranger like this, because he was the reason she was in this situation. "Fine, don't come. But remember one thing." His voice was calm and serious. She looked at him. "You have a well in front of you and a ditch behind you. There's risk either way. People who fall into a well are at least found and buried, but those who fall into a ditch often don't even get that." He laid out the truth plainly, then walked back to the car without waiting for her answer. He didn't leave. The headlights remained on. He sat behind the wheel, staring straight ahead. She sat there too, staring at the car. It turned into a silent battle of stubbornness between them. After a while, the front door opened. Daniel didn't look at her. Sophia got in and slammed the door shut. In the end, she chose to fall into the well. To be